Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
We're going to get started now. And as I am Jay Street, I am chairman of the Delaware Black Caucus. There are a number of organizations here who have come together to try to put this rally together. And it's about our children. It's about our children's future, our future as a city. And as we indicated yesterday, we come prayerfully, we come peacefully.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I see some signs out here that say it's time for change. It's time for change. And being a man of the Bible, I want to share with you that there are two kinds of time in the Bible. First of all, there's chronos. That's time that just marches on. But then there's also another kind of time in the Bible, in the New Testament Bible, called kairos. And kairos is when things line up to give God an opportunity to make a change in the world. Well, the kind of time that we're talking about for change is not chronos. Chronos has been marching along, and we haven't gotten any further than we have been for years. But it's kairos time. It's an opportunity for us to do some things differently. I believe it's time, and I don't expect a lot of people to buy into this immediately, but it's time for us to look at a kind of culturally based education, so that we might be able to affirm our children in the culture and the context that they live in and that they come from. One of the things that we're looking at, one of the things that we are looking at, not only in the city of Wilmington, but in the state of Delaware and across the nation, is we have lost a sense of identity. Simply put, our children don't know who they are and what community they come from, nor how difficult it has been to get them to where they are. And so today, I just stand with Brother Street and everyone else and the coalition to not so much in protest, but to say that it's time. It's time for us to take the problems that have become ours and do something about them. And I think one of the things we need to do is we need to reclaim a sense of identity for our children. They're growing up trying to be like other communities, rather than growing up to be the strength and the noble people that God has created them to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay Street. I want to thank everyone for being out today, coming out, not standing only for ourselves, but for all the little ones here, our children, our grandchildren, and the children to come. Now we're going to have the new NAACP President, Gary Hinman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
The Newark branch of the NAACP is glad to be here and glad to be a part of the coalition of organizations. The mission statement of our organizations it reads as follows: to work collectively to assure that all children in the state of Delaware receive a quality education, to provide assistance to parents/guardian, parent groups, education advocates, ensure compliance with the rights and responsibilities. We will work with the Delaware Department of Education, local school boards, elected and other public officials to establish policies, regulations, procedures. These policies will assure having resources that enable children to achieve success and become self-sufficient adults. The purpose that we are here is to ensure that the Department of Education should serve the entire public school system. It should complete and provide complete, accurate, timely information on student achievements. That's all. In keeping with that, the Office of Civil Rights, the OCR, of the United States Department of Education will begin initiating a compliance review in Delaware, specifically in the Christina School District. The Secretary of Education must annually report to the General Assembly, the Governor, and the public the results of any assessment programs. We are here to promote the support, parental involvement in the future of all our children. This is not a one-time event, and we ask that all concerned and interested citizens join the coalition of organizations. It's time for a change. As Dr. King stated, it's always the right time to do the right thing.
Thank you so much, Gary Hamilton. I want to acknowledge State Representative J.J. Johnson. Thank you so much for coming out. Now we're going to be calling on the Vice President of the Coalition to Save Our Children, Devin Henson, and he's going to tell you the reason why we're here.
Okay, the reasons why we're protesting the Christina School District. One is because all city schools in the Christina School District are under academic review or watch. All high schools in the Christina are under academic review or watch. 3 of the 4 districts' middle schools are under academic watch. Lowest test scores in modern history, discipline practices resulted in a record number, 19,000 suspensions, and 80 expulsions in 2008-2009 school years. And finally, failure to include minority businesses in procurement. The reason why we're protesting against the state is for under-resourced, high-poverty schools, resulting in low-performing schools throughout the state of Delaware, caused primarily by the Neighborhood School Act. High poverty, under-resourced charter schools resulting from the Charter School Act. State's failure to follow advice of the Neighborhood School Committee to provide additional resources for high-poverty schools. State's failure to abolish the 4 districts in the city of Wilmington. Failure of state to give Wilmington residents local control. And finally, failure to include minority businesses in procurement.
I'm so glad, thank you so much, Devin. I'm so glad we keep getting more and more representatives, and we're going to acknowledge them, and I want to thank City Councilwoman Stephanie Boone for being here. Josie Roy is going to tell you what our demands are.
Thank you, Jordy. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here this morning. Our demands of the Christina School District is that all board members resign. Remove all current employees in charge of discipline from their responsibilities in discipline. Establish success plans for all city schools with input from city parents with final review in conjunction the coalition of organizations. Diversity plans for staff, especially teachers. Diversity plans for inclusion of minority businesses in procurement. And these are the demands of all. Establish Office of Education Advocate, parent training and support centers, intervention teams in all secondary schools, mental health and social services in schools, and finally, give city parents and residents local control.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm here this morning as a concerned parent to discuss a conflict that I'm currently involved with the Christina School District. Okay, I'm a little nervous right now because I never did this before. But there's a policy that the Christina School District have is involved with the zero tolerance policy. That I think this policy is very unreasonable. I think they're not using common sense and when they make a determination when it's involved with our children. And I think that this policy is unreasonable and unfair. The parents, if you're not involved with your children's education, please get involved. Go to those schools, show your faith. Let the teachers and staff members know that children has parents who are concerned about them. These are our little ones. We're supposed to be very involved in their education. If you're involved, then these teachers and these other staff members will not have the opportunity to mistreat them in any kind of way. Thank you very much.
Everybody doing? Today marks a new day. We got to step up as parents. Everybody up here already raised their kids. I'm like the youngest up here. So where are we at? It's time for us to step up. These are our children that they fighting for. So if we ain't gonna step up, who's gonna do it? And we heard the reasons and we heard the demands. It's time for us to walk now and make a move. Ain't no more to talk about. You already know what's going on, so let's handle it.
And we have another young person here, and these are the guys, thank goodness.
That's right.
Tomar Bivens.
Good morning, everybody. I actually worked through the Boys and Girls Clubs for 5 years, doing after-school programs. And just the after-school programs alone lets you see that the education is diminishing over the years from even when I was in high school, not even 10 years ago. So, as a young parent, my son will be 5, Gary, to go into the school district, I feel that it's right that we have to stand up and start to speak up as younger parents as a community, as a whole, just to stand up and start speaking and saying the right things to each other, saying the right things to the school district, saying the right things to your children. Start bringing each other up, and maybe some type of change can be made, and maybe someone will hear what we got to say.
City Councilman Charles Potter.
How's everybody doing today? I don't think we fired up enough. You know, when I get up in the morning every day, I work the commission. I don't have no regular salary. So each morning I get up, I got to feel good about myself. So when I ask you how you feel, say good. How you feel? How you feel? Because you got to get fired up and get out there and do it. You know, I didn't know what I was going to say today because there's so many emotions. And this is something that I thought was a problem over 15 or more years ago when we did DSEG. We let our children down. DSEG was a mistake. We were graduating at a rate of 70%. Now we're down to 30%. How can that happen? We got to get local control, and we're going to get it. We have to see through the dark and see ourselves doing it and getting the things we need to educate our young people. When I say see through the dark, I don't want to hear this, we can't do it, it shouldn't happen. We have to do it. It's incumbent on us to educate our children right. I'm not afraid when people say, well, you have a socioeconomic poverty school. I think you can do more with less. We have a business community here, we got a lot of people here, and we can do this thing the right way. Local control means we can make now-time decisions to help our children out. We don't have to go through a third party or fourth party. Don't be afraid to educate your own people. This is not a race thing, but when people understand, if you're Irish people take care of the Irish, Italians take care of the Italians, and as black people, there's no problem with us taking care of our young people, but working together with everybody. It is our children who are failing. We can't turn our head and say it is not happening. So now's the time. We can do it. We got to do it together. And I want to introduce someone who you all know, who this community many times, who helped many people in this community, and we have turned our backs on him, excuse me, and we shouldn't do it anymore. The Honorable Sam Guy.
Thank you, Councilman Potter. I want to greet everyone that's here. We've been in this fight for education for children in Wilmington for a long time. When I look at Jay, if I was looking in the dictionary under education and caring for children, I'd probably see his picture there. And so I want everybody, even though this is a collective effort, you still got to recognize when people are on point, receiving the bullets and the shots that he receives all the time. So I want to thank you, Jay, for your leadership over the years in our community. If you don't know your history, then your history is going to run you over. We're standing on hallowed ground. This is a community that has refused for years to allow our children to be stepped on. Brown v. Board of Education is a Delaware case. Everybody talks about Topeka, Kansas. It's a Delaware case. This is the only community in America where the plaintiffs went to the Delaware Supreme Court as the victors. Everywhere else, the community lost. The Honorable Louis L. Redding led this community to victory. So we all, look at our kids right there. Think about how many generations of you out there know that you didn't get the education that you really were entitled to. So how many more generations are we going to allow this to happen? Money isn't an issue. Delaware is one of 5 states that hasn't had litigation about the formula for funding. Delaware's constitution requires adequate funding and equitable funding. So it's a lie if somebody tells you we can't have a district that we have local control over because of the lack of money. That's a lie. Don't believe the lie. I could continue on, but I'm going to stop here because a lot of these issues, if we're the ones making the decisions, then we can resolve a lot of the issues on this list. So thank you for coming out, and children, we're trying to do what we can do so that you don't have to go through what a lot of your elders have gone through.
On behalf of the City of Wilmington's Wilmington Branch NAACP, and speaking, I guess, for our state president who is unable to be here, but he will be on the plaza with us representing the state. And I want to say to all you young people that this is about you. This fight is about you. This fight is about your future. That's why we're here, and that's why we're raising these issues the way we are. I want you to repeat something after me. Can you say, I am? Somebody. I am. Somebody. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything in the world. No one can save us, for us, but us. I am somebody. I am somebody. Amen.
And I want to recognize the former president of the Wilmington Branch NAACP, Mr. Keith Booker. Thank you, Keith. Thank you for staying on the battlefield, for being here.
Good morning. I didn't know I was going to have anything to say, but my name is Sean Allen. I work with adjudicated youth coming out of family court. I think one of the most important things that I do want to say is that I can probably sit up here and tell you 1,000 stories, but I just want to say to the people that's out there, go back and tell whoever's not here that we need them to come and join us. That's right. That's all I want to say, because I deal with parents every day and they cry about their kids this and their kids that, and you get an opportunity to basically come and support this man here and this man here, and I think this whole parking lot should be filled up. So go back. So one of the problems with the school district, and now we see that we have another problem, that we need more parents to come out and support what's going on now. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
I'd like to call on the president of the Wilmington Branch NAACP, Mr. Charles Brittingham, bring remarks to us. Morning. Good morning. All right. As we gather here today, we come as friends, we come as neighbors, we come as colleagues, and most certainly we come as students and parents. So, we're here today to remind the Delaware Department of Education that our needs have never been met since 1954, the Brown versus the Board of Education, which is 56 years ago recently. I have a list of a few things, I won't be long, of some of the things that we're talking about and we're going to get into. And first of all, we need to increase resource equity, improve teacher quality, increase access to early childhood programs, increasing access to college-bound curriculum, creating smaller class sizes, closing the divisional divide, addressing disparities in high-test testing, reducing the dropout rate, increasing parental involvement. That is a big key, parental involvement. Addressing social, education, and overrepresentation and underserving of minority children. Eliminating racial disparities in the suspension and expulsion rate. As you know, recently, the last couple of years, the figures that we have from 2008 to 2009, the figures are off the chart with expulsions. And if you notice, whenever the expulsions happen, they will suspend you up until the month of, I would say, May, and then when June rolls around, you don't have enough credits to graduate. So we have to be careful of that. Addressing resegregation trends. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but that's what's been creeping back into our systems. Here's a big key, providing language assistance and bilingual education. If we cannot compete locally, we would never compete globally when it's time to go out there and do what we have to do to survive.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? My name is Justin Richardson. I just want to say one quick thing. I look around, how many people are grandparents or kids already graduated? That's almost everybody here. Almost everybody, kids almost graduated or is out of school or grown. I don't see nobody here who has actually got kids in school and that's going through things. I'm 25 years old and I don't see nobody my age that got kids that is worried about this issue until their kids get kicked out of school. So you see everybody back here, they're adults and they're grown and they got power. We got help. So just come up, step up, and we can get something done.
And join hands with someone, join hands if you just touch someone's hand, and let's join together in solidarity. Amos says that we ought to touch and agree, and so we come here today to lift up prayers to God. I am so glad that God has been included in the equation. The Bible says that if the people of God who are called by his name would humble themselves and pray and seek God's face, then it says God will hear from heaven, forgive our sin, and heal the land. We have to acknowledge our sin in order to get some healing in the land. We've got some things to do. So let's lift up prayers to Almighty God. We're glad that God has been included in the equation. Let's bow our heads. Eternal and most gracious God, it has been said today, dear God, by the most prophetic understanding that we don't want anybody to give us nothing. Just open the door and we will get it ourselves.